Hi, everybody. It's Nora McInerny, and this is Thanks for Asking. This is a call-in show, sometimes just a regular show about what matters to you. I take topics, I take questions, I take your calls, your voicemails, your texts, and this is part 2 of You're Not Too Old, It's Not Too Late. Or is it, It's Not Too Late, You're Not Too Old? I can't remember what we named the prior episode. I just know that we had more to say because every time I open the Instagram question box, I get a variation on the question that kicked off that first episode, which is, I'm X years old. I have this kind of life. I don't want to live this kind of life anymore. Is it too late for me? Give me a pep talk. So today I have a different special guest. This is Cheryl. I know her on Instagram as @IfIt'sTuesday. I have said for quite a long time that Cheryl is one of my top influencers. Cheryl is, as the date of this recording, 69 years old. By the time you hear this, she will be 70 years old. She might not fit the profile of what you imagine when you think influencer. And that is why I chose to have her here today. Because, yeah, she's almost 30 years older than me. I truly cannot do math. She's almost 30 years older than me, and she is an influence on me online. I want to dress like Cheryl. I want to act like Cheryl. I want to be a sophisticated East Coast woman. Unfortunately, I am a Midwest-born, Southwest living, semi-dirtbag, and that's okay. That's okay. But Cheryl was not born an influencer. She actually had an entire life, an entire career before she made this pivot. And I wanted to get her story out here, wanted to introduce all of you to Cheryl, and I wanted to introduce all of you to Cheryl, and I wanted and I wanted to keep that conversation going about how we can keep an expansive view of our lives, of our place in the world, how we can encourage one another to see beyond what is right in front of us. So here is my conversation with Cheryl, also known as If It's Tuesday. Cheryl, I am so excited to be talking to you on the podcast because I have just been such a fan of you. And if anybody follows me on Instagram, they know that I refer to you as honestly, one of my top 5 favorite influencers, truly. Like when I imagine myself in the future, I imagine myself as you, even though I know that I'm more of a dirtbag. Maybe, quite a bit.
Well, it's so funny because, uh, grief brings people together. And I
Yeah.
knew of you before If It's Tuesday even began. So I had your books.
Yeah.
I followed you long before this was. So it is grace that brought us together. So it is.
It is. It is. My sister in
Yes,
sorrow is what
without
it
a
is.
doubt.
Like eventually everyone will join and we will welcome them with, open and reluctant arms at the same time. The impetus for these episodes is that more than once, Cheryl, I've gotten messages from mostly women who say, I'm X years old. It's always younger than me. I'll say that. I'm 31. I'm, in a recent case, 24. I want to change my life or I want to change my career, but I'm afraid that it's simply too
Oh,
late for me. And I know that feeling,
mhm.
and I wish that I could reach into people and remove it from them. But I think really all you can do is kind of try to shine your flashlight around in the darkness and say, look, there's more ahead of you. I promise you that 31 is not too
Right.
old to do pretty
And
much
you don't
anything.
and you
It's
don't
like,
want trauma.
yeah,
You don't want trauma to
yeah,
force that.
yeah.
You don't
No.
want them to do it a forced reason. You want them to do that
Right.
because they can, because they have joy in their life. My life
Right.
changed be, be because of extenuating circumstances. You don't want that. You want them to look into their lives and say, "Oh, what are my what are my gifts? What are the things that I can do? What are the things that I love? And what are the things that I can share with other people?"
Yeah.
My circumstances were so different. Yes, and you know,
Yeah.
do it because you get to do it. Don't not because you have to do it.
Right. I was talking to a friend recently about young people that we know, and she said the sooner that they realize that you make decisions or life will make them for you, the better.
Yes.
And I think for a long time, I think life was making decisions for me. What my assumptions about what was possible were making decisions for me. I want to talk about who you were, what you did, what your life was like before If It's Tuesday.
Okay. I was so prior to all of this, I was a dental hygienist by trade. That was my career.
Mhm.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Um, because I got to know people. I really the one-on-one time with people, and people always say, "Oh my gosh, my dental hygienist," but I was really tricky. I knew when to ask questions, and I knew
Yeah.
when they were able to answer. So I really got to know families. They became a part of my life.
Yeah.
Um,
I love my dental hygienist. Okay. I will say right now, Dr. Troy Stansberry in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, your name sounds fake. I think you're operating under an alias, but nicest dentist, great guy, best hygienist team. I love going
yes,
to the dentist. I love getting my teeth cleaned. And I've never had anything but like a delightful
yes.
experience with those dental
Yes, and that
hygienists.
is
Yeah.
and that was how I felt, and, I worked full-time, and then I had my 2 kids, and I was able to do it part-time, which was a gift, and then my husband was diagnosed with frontotemporal
Mhm.
dementia.
Yeah.
So I stopped working so I could care for him, and I cared for him for 5 years. He stayed home with me, and that was a choice that I made, that we made together.
Yeah.
He died after 5 years, and the trauma, the PTSD holding our family together, I didn't know what to do after that. So I knew I didn't wanna go back to being a dental hygienist, and that was trauma for me because I didn't wanna go back to seeing my patients. I didn't wanna have to explain
Yeah.
all of that. That was me dealing with
Yeah.
my trauma. Um,
Yeah. Cheryl, when you like we've done stories back on Terrible Thanks for Asking about uh frontal temporal uh
yes.
dementia. It's truly of the many horrifying things that can happen to the human mind
Mhm.
and body that has to be top top 5. It really is.
Yes.
How old were you when this
Um,
happened, and
Kenny and I
what were the signs that something was off?
um I always laugh and say, Kenny was, just 50, just in his 50th year. So, I I it's so very hard. He lost, um, he had he lost his ability for word retrieval and
Yeah.
executive skills. That's how it played out for him. And I had a daughter who was just starting college, a son who was in high school. We were we were we were managing those years, and I always laugh and
Yeah.
say, when he would forget a word, I'd be like, "Oh, get your shit together, because I
Yeah.
don't have time for this." And like, so it was that kind of stuff. So, but then we realized that something was off. And our nurse practitioner, God bless her, when Kenny and I just sat down and wrote down all of the things that was like, oh, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, we were like, oh, something is really off. And we went in
Mm.
um, so it was probably a couple of years, bits and pieces that we
Yeah.
realized that things were very
Yeah.
much off.
Yeah, and that's so many turning points at once for a
Mhm,
family too, like so many big
mhm,
transitions. You want to, launch your kid into college and have that just be a exciting time for them. You want to wrap up your other kids' high school years and have that just be a really happy
mhm.
time for them, and that's just not how life,
Yeah,
happens for
and you know
everybody.
as
I
well
I
as
think you're
I
really,
y
really lucky if you have a
right, you
boring
know as
life.
well as I do that life
Yeah.
doesn't promise happy, and
Yeah.
that is just the truth of the matter. It doesn't, and I don't think when you're in the thick of things like that, do you realize that, things are chipping away at
Mm.
everything. I always say that living with FTD was, for all of us, death by a thousand cuts. It
Yeah.
was just for all of us, for him, for me, for Graham, and for Alexandra, for each one of us in very different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's a thousand tiny cuts. It's a thousand tiny
Mhm,
funerals. Like you just lose somebody so
mhm.
slowly. And I think the thing that's so frightening about diseases like that is the loss of like who a
Yes.
person is, right? Like who you know them to be. And I can only imagine how, like, frightening that would be to know it's happening to you. It's happening in, your own mind. It's just so much so I mean, I really relate to life blowing
Mhm.
up, life falling apart, and just not being able to go back to the way things were, and I've railed against, these sort of definitions or ideas of resilience that require us to continue on as though nothing has happened when really, we have to instead learn how to live a life that has completely changed shape. You can't go and be the old version of yourself because that old version of your life doesn't exist. So, how does that Cheryl, from dental hygienist to caregiver, become an influencer?
Uh, this was not on my bingo card, let me tell you that. Uh,
Yeah. Also, my
oh.
door just opened. So, is that Kenny? Okay. Is it Aaron?
Who
Like,
is
who
it?
is
Who is
who
coming
is
to
it?
visit us? Um, it
Who's here?
could be either one of them,
Yeah.
interestingly enough. Um, it there were years of PTSD, truthfully. There were
Mhm.
years of
Yeah.
me really not knowing who I was at all, because I went from daughter to wife to mother to caregiver, mothering Kenny, and then he was gone. And truthfully, Kenny was bigger than life. Kenny was the center of attention. He was the extrovert. I was the
Yeah.
introvert. So I got to enjoy life through him and then
Same.
draw back as an introvert, and so I really did have to get to know who I was and get to learn who I was after that, and grieve and learn how to grieve. And I remember going to my therapist and people were like, "Oh, Cheryl, you're not healthy, you're not this, and you're depressed and everything else." And my therapist said, "You're not depressed. This isn't depression.
Mhm.
This is trauma that you're surviving.
Yeah.
Just take care of yourself." So that was really a few years of doing
Yeah.
that. And um I worked with a nonprofit which got me out. I was working with young children
Yeah.
and doing that, and that was really, really great. So that got me out into the world a little bit, and I love doing that. I still do that. I still work with the nonprofit. I love doing that. Um, During COVID, I still got dressed. I love clothes. I still got dressed. I still did
Yeah.
all of that. Alexandra gave me Is it Dudley Stevens? Dudley, I don't know the I
Yeah,
think,
I
yeah,
think so. I know
yeah,
what you're
one of
talking
those
about, though. Yep.
fleece thingies. And,
Yeah.
she gave me a gift of something, and I'd never worn one before, and I reached out to a friend, an influencer who wore those, and I said, "Is this how this is supposed to fit?" And I took a picture, and her response was, "Oh my gosh, that looks so great. You should post that on your site." And I was like, "Uh, what? I I don't." So I screenshot the comment, sent it to Alexandra and said, "Ha ha ha, how funny is this?" And her response was, "Maybe you should. You get dressed all the time. Maybe one day a
Mhm.
week you should just post." And
Yeah.
we sort of went back and forth. She is truly one of my best friends. I identify with you because like your relationship with Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
just it's a gift. Um,
Yeah.
and so I was like, okay, and assumed her friends would be the ones who looked at it, and so once a week I just started posting clothes from my closet, what I was getting dressed in.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And then Alex Mill reached out. Rose from Alex Mill reached out and said, "Can we send you some clothes?" And I said, "Sure." And I assumed I would have to send them back. I didn't
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
any of this. And everybody said, "No, that's not what happens. You keep those." And I was in shock. In shock that I got to keep this outfit. And then I started just
Yeah.
to shoot, post twice a week. So I still just post twice a week. And then
Yeah.
from there,
Yeah.
somebody reached out who worked with a modeling agency in DC and knew an agency in, um, Boston, and I do some modeling. So
Mm.
both things happened because of this.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah. Yeah.
N never in my wildest dreams.
Yeah, and you're so good at it, and I love your recommendations, and like I said, I hope to start to build a wardrobe and a life that looks and feels, like, elegant and put together, and, you know, it's actually really inspired me to start, like, getting dressed
Well, and I think
more
that that's
often.
the I think that that's part of the thing is that it like, I do get dressed every day, but I don't get
Yeah.
dressed in unrealistic things. I mean,
No, no.
it's just stuff. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
trust me, I have clothes now that, like, my closet is busting out. I am so
Yeah.
fortunate, and it's shocking to me. And still, companies reach out to me that I say no to because I would never wear those things. I would
Yeah.
never wear those
Yeah.
things, and I'm grateful that they think of me, and I also say no, thank you. Way
Yeah.
more than I say yes, please.
So when you're getting started, I think it can be very scary for people, myself included, to start something
Mhm.
new because sometimes I will assign voices and thoughts to an imaginary audience that lives
Mhm.
primarily in my head. And to try to do something new can be
Mhm.
scary for that
Mhm.
reason, right? You're like, oh God, like what are people gonna think? Like what are strangers gonna think? What are people that I know gonna think? Did you have any like fears, trepidation, and how did you overcome those?
Well, let me just say this. N I told nobody that I did this.
Mm.
No one. No
Yeah.
one. My family didn't know. My daughter knew. I don't think my
Hmm.
son knew. Maybe he did, but, so my immediate family did, but my extended family, I told no one that I knew. I think people ended up telling my family. People were like, "Oh my gosh, your sister is doing this." And that's how they found out, what I was doing, but that was too scary, and I also, um, I didn't want to be judged, and I didn't I also grew up in a time where you didn't draw attention to yourself. And that felt, putting myself out there felt as though I was saying, "Oh, look at me." And this Instagram feels like a place that's what you're saying is, "Look at me. I
Mhm.
do this and I do that." And that's not what I'm saying. And yet I also know that that's how it can be construed. And
Yeah.
so, um,
But also pause. Why would that be bad? Why would that be bad? Why are we not allowed to say, look at me? Why are we not allowed to want any kind of attention? Like, why is that bad? Why are we conditioned to believe that that's like a negative
listen,
thing? Like, yeah, you know what?
I
Look
am
at
turning
Cheryl. Okay.
70, Saturday, and my daughter said to me, "We are celebrating you. We are having a party for you." And I thought to myself,
Yeah.
uh," and she said, "That's what we're doing." And it
Yeah.
has taken me a month to embrace it and say, "Oh my gosh, yes, yes." But it does take some undoing all of that to recognize that, "Oh my gosh, there are so many people that I want to spend this day with." And and
Yeah.
and if they choose to spend this day with me, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
Great.
Exactly. So
Great.
what you're
Great.
saying is 100% correct, but it is
Mhm.
society, it is how we were raised,
Yeah.
it is all of those things. And I would never judge anybody else for doing that. So
No.
why do I do
No.
that to myself? What is that voice?
Mhm.
What is that voice?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every time I have been judgmental of a
Mhm.
woman,
Mhm.
right? It's because like when I really think about it, like when I'm judging a woman who is like I don't know, like doing something like, "Oh god, who does she think she is?" I'm like, oh. It's because you don't think you can think
Mhm.
highly of yourself. Like why would you begrudge another woman confidence,
Mhm.
self-esteem, pride in
Mhm.
herself and her work, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
get a grip. So, but I love that, and I love that, it sort of happened it sounds like it just happened
Mhm.
organically, and, uh, and it's grown, like, significantly, like, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah.
has. And like I don't talk very often on there, only
Mhm.
only because I get sick of listening to my own voice. So so I'm like, no one really wants to hear my voice. But I
Yeah.
do think I just think one of the things that I think was instrumental to me is the people that I was following were the people from the UK, and they don't do a lot of
Mhm.
chatting. The
Yeah.
women influencers over there don't do a lot of chatter, and that's what I like. And maybe it's the introvert in me as well. Like I just like to look. I- So I enjoy that. So that was part of it. Once in a while I
Yeah.
do. Now, 4 years later, 5 years later, I do a little bit, but not all that much. So again, it's growing. I said in the beginning that as long as I'm enjoying this, like people would say, you have to post every day. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I was like, I don't have to do anything. I don't
Mhm.
have to do anything. And I think that's been the key for me is I've done what I'm comfortable doing. So
Mm.
initially I just posted once a week. That's it. I didn't really do that much in stories. Then I started posting twice a week. And then I started doing stories more. So I did it at, to my comfort level. So that's what I would say to anybody. As long
Yeah.
as you're finding joy in what you're doing, do it, do it.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm also hearing, like, you don't have to have every bit of it
oh,
figured
I had
out.
none of it figured out. I had no I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to link anything. I did not know how to do anything. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at you now. Like there's so many things that you've like learned how to
Mhm.
do and that had nothing to do with your background as a
N
dental hygienist.
Not a thing. Not a
You
thing.
know, I'm truly floored. I thought when I asked you about your past career that you were going to say that you worked in
Absolutely
marketing.
not. No.
So I hid my shock at finding out that you're a dental hygienist, but when you look at your teeth, it does make sense.
And that's mother nature. That
It does same. Same. That's nature, but that's nature
yeah,
and orthodontics. That's what
and for
that
me,
is.
I didn't even need
That's
I used to pretend I needed braces. I used to put elastics on my teeth because I was jealous of
oh
people
yeah.
who had
So
braces.
was I. So was I. Then I got him a little too late socially. I got him in
Yeah,
eighth and
I
ninth
hear
grade.
you.
Okay. Everyone else had him in fifth. And I was like, that's cool. Different color bands.
Yeah, I hear
Not cool to have headgear in eighth grade, I'll tell you that much. Not cool
and
to be like a 6 foot tall eighth
my poor
grader.
daughter she, like, put her finger in her mouth like,
Yeah.
brought her teeth out, yeah. Bless her heart.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's
Yes. Yes. We're
breathtaking.
dealing
Yeah,
with all
she's
kinds of
breathtaking, and it was worth it, but, oh, man, it was it was a lot.
hmm They
Yeah.
don't make it cheap. They don't
No.
make it cheap. So Cheryl, all this in mind, all that you know, about to turn 70, what do you want to say to primarily women and our 5 male listeners, up to 6, I
Oh,
heard recently, up to 6. Thank you for making yourselves known. Um, I should say straight male
mm,
listeners. Okay. I would say this is mostly she's, theys, and gays. But um, what would you say to people in their
mhm.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s who want to change their lives, who want to start over and feel like it's just too late?
Like I said in the beginning, m make the choice yourself and don't let it be made for you. That would be my most important thing. And do it in baby steps. Nothing has to be done urgently. Like dabble in what things bring you joy. And I think that's the thing that's most important. What brings you joy? You, not what other people
Yeah.
think you should do. I'm so tired of people telling you what you should do. I was tired of people telling me what I should be doing. Do what do you know, figure out what you think will make you happy and then just do a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And do it that way. If finances for most people, finances are really important. So stay doing what is bringing in the money and then dabble in the things that make you happy and then see if that can parlay into something that will also bring you money. So that's what I would say.
Yeah.
It's the things that bring you joy because at the end of the day, that's what I mean, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah. What else is
pick
there?
picking at somebody's teeth wasn't the part that brought me joy. It's getting to know the people that came in to see me and that looked forward, like you do, to come see your dental hygienist. That's the part that brought me joy. Um,
Yeah.
and making somebody who was afraid to go to the dentist want to come to the dentist. That's the part that brought me joy. So
Yeah.
figure out what's going to bring you joy and do it in baby
Yeah.
steps.
Incremental, that's very good advice. Incremental is good. I think sometimes I do have an all or nothing attitude. I love black and white thinking. I love to burn a bridge. And, I would say that the times that I have, which is a topic for another time because somebody asked me about that. But the times that I really like burned my life down, I didn't have to necessarily. I didn't have to do all that. I didn't have to do all that. Um, and, some of it was like extremely, extremely risky. And, uh, yeah, changes can be small and you can always iterate. Like nothing is a blood oath. It's not as though because you have spent 5,
Mhm.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years as a dental hygienist, then you are not allowed to
Right,
leave the profession. You are allowed
right.
to leave. Um, yeah, you can find what brings you joy. And as an aside, I actually think the part that would bring me joy as a dental hygienist is the picking. I love to pick at things. I think, when I can tell, and I'm a flosser, okay? I'm a flosser. I love to floss. But when they floss and I'm like, "Oh, you found something I didn't." I'm like, that was probably really satisfying. Like, sometimes I see people's teeth and I can see the plaque and I'm like, "Get me in there. Get me to
Listen,
dental hygienist school.
there
I
is
want to."
joy in that. And yes,
Yeah.
there is joy in that, but it's to me, it's like getting to know, getting to
Yeah.
know the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, that's because 'cause you're a good person. I would be like, "This is sick. Get over here." Okay. Like, the rinsing, I'd be like, "This is some good stuff, buddy." We would not be talking. If I was your dental hygienist, we would not be talking because 'cause I'd be so locked in and I would just be,
Yeah,
I'd probably say, "Do you wanna see this? Because
yeah.
this is gross." Just like, the minute my kids hit, the stage where they're getting, like, little, like, clogged
Mhm,
pores and zits, I'm like, "Hey, come here.
mhm.
Come here. I just wanna get in there." Just gross. I'm a
Oh,
gross
no,
person.
no,
That's what I'm trying to say.
trust
So,
me, there's that too. There is that part of me that I thoroughly enjoy, that I
ugh,
thoroughly enjoy.
yeah, it's
But
like,
when you're doing it all the
get me back
time,
to it.
you gotta get
Yeah,
to the other side.
you gotta get to it. You have to there's gotta be more to life than
Yes,
tartar buildup,
yes,
as they
yes.
say, as they say. Okay, so I have a couple, messages from people who have made big changes, so I'm gonna
Okay,
read them out loud, and we're just gonna
okay.
talk to them. Okay, so my name is Maureen. I'm a 50-year-old wife and mother to my 11-year-old son, Asa. I graduated from college back in 1996 with a degree in industrial engineering. Okay, aside, Cheryl, I did not know when people said they were engineers, I was well into my
Mhm.
20s when I realized I was not just talking to train conductors. I I was like, God, everyone loves trains. Like, what are we? So turns out,
It's not the case.
yeah, I was like, wow, engineering. Everyone's just, oh, did I miss something? Are we all supposed to be working in the train industry? Anyways, industrial engineering. Why did I get a degree in IE, you ask? Because my dad's an engineer and I was good at math and
Well,
science.
that
Funny
can I
thing
just say
is,
this?
yeah,
Good at math and
yeah,
science, I'm like,
same. When I hear somebody who's good at math and science, I think it must
yeah.
be nice. I've cried helping my child with fourth
Mhm,
grade math,
mhm.
fifth grade math, and to me, sixth grade math, full mental
100%,
breakdowns.
yes.
I was like, "What?
Yes. Don't come
No
asking for
one
help.
knows how to multiply a
Don't
fraction. No one. It's
Yeah.
never been done." Okay? Oh, God. Okay, so good for this girl. Okay. Doesn't mention trains. Funny thing is, it turns out just because you're good at something doesn't mean you will actually like doing it for the rest of your life. At 26, after only 5 years working in the manufacturing engineering world, I remember telling a close friend I needed to find something else before I was 30 or I wouldn't survive. Fast forward 20 years, I was still part of the manufacturing machine, working 60 hours a week from home,
Mm,
with my then 6-year-old son at home with me doing virtual kindergarten. That was a special kind
ugh,
of hell. Ugh. With all of us trying to learn to live in a global pandemic. Cue the midlife
mm.
crisis. So I did what any self-respecting midlife crisis girl does. I got myself a
Oh,
therapist. You'd
yes,
love to hear
good,
it.
perfect. I thought
Yes,
you were gonna say
yes.
she
She
quit.
was a yeah. I honestly, and so many women primarily did leave the workforce in COVID because it was such an impossible task to keep a
Mhm.
household going, keep your kids educated from home. I was so bad
Oh,
at it,
yeah,
and also, hold down
like
a job. Matthew had left his job the summer before COVID, temporarily, we thought, temporarily. Then, oh, like, you're having fun, like take a couple more months. Then COVID hits. Sorry, bud. You're
yeah,
you're
yeah.
home. Now this is what you do. Now you're teaching preschool and second grade and middle school and monitoring a high schooler. Good luck. Um, okay. So 2 years in therapy. Next 2 years helped me walk through a lot of crap I'd left untended to over the years. One of which was my unhealthy attachment to killing myself in a job that did not show me the same respect and loyalty that I gave to it. Whew. I was facing the reality that I was still 20 years from retirement. I was working in an industry that was all about profits and dollars and did not take care of the people who were the ones who actually did all the real work. And what I really wanted was a job that felt meaningful and one where I could help people. Instead, I spent my workday stressed out over whether or not we could get our customer their Pokemon toy dispensing machine on time. Yes, for real, we made those. You worked in a medical setting. Okay, so the emergencies that you were attending to were real when they happened? The emergencies that so many of that office workers feel like are emergencies
Listen,
and are
my
trained.
daughter was when
Oh,
Kenny was sick, she went to school for art history, worked in advertising, when her dad was sick, and, the one line she said to me when she went back to school so she was working, and she said, "Mom, cannot do this anymore. I cannot listen to one more person come at me because the color blue in the typeface is wrong. There are more important things in this world." And she
yeah.
left and went back to school to be a nurse practitioner, which
Man, I
she
love
is
Alexandra.
now. And,
Yeah,
like, she
yeah.
nearly lost her mind because and granted, the color blue was important, but not that
Mhm.
important.
Not that important. You can't be having, panic
Mhm,
attacks over, ad layouts and, letter spacing and just the
mhm,
urgency that we
mhm,
were we were made to
mhm,
believe that everything was urgent, everything was
mhm.
important, and everything was like
Yeah, so
truly a
I
matter of life
understand
or
exactly
death.
what she's saying because I remember Alexandra coming
Yeah.
to me and saying, "I need to leave this job and
Yeah.
do something that matters."
Yeah. And when you're working from
Mhm,
home. You have a kid that you're trying to homeschool. The world is like crumbling
mhm.
around us. And someone is like reaming you out because someone might not get their Pokemon toy dispenser machine on time. And you're like,
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Great, 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 great. Okay. So I started to dream, maybe for the first time in my life. When I was in high school, I was deciding between going to engineering school or studying psychology, one of my fascinations. But back then, my naive 16-year-old who lets 16-year-olds make career decisions? Excellent point. My naive 16-year-old self thought the only thing that you could do with a psychology degree was go to med school, and that definitely wasn't for me. At 16, Cheryl, I did not know what any
Uh,
jobs were.
none, none.
I actually, I thought, I mean, from the Richard Scarry book, which I keep on my bookshelf, I was like, baker, bricklayer, plumber,
Mother.
mother. Post office. I was like aiming for that. I don't know. My dad was a writer. My mom worked, she laid out, I guess now I know she laid out catalogs. She worked in advertising. But when people asked me what my parents did, I said they're freelancers. I did not know really what they did. Like my dad wrote commercials. My dad wrote eventually infomercials. But yeah, I wasn't again, who lets 16-year-olds make career decisions? Who lets 17, 18-year-old, 19 like sometimes I guess if you know, and then sometimes, you just think or I think as a mother, I think, life is
Yeah,
long, babe. It's okay. You can relax. You don't
yeah.
have to have it all figured out. Okay. So off to engineering school, I blindly went. Now, older and wiser and fresh off the positive experience I had with my counselor, I discovered that there are other options for people who might have an interest in how people's minds work and how they interact with each other. But could I really do that? Could I really throw my career out the window and give up the reliable, steady, nice sized paycheck I was getting? I was 46 years old. Isn't that too old to change course? My pandemic self care was podcasts. That's how I found your show. And about the time I was doing a little bit of dreaming, but mostly convincing myself of the foolishness of a career change in my mid 40s. I talked about this in the last episode. Edith Eger was on Brene Brown's podcast. She was also on mine.
Was she
I'm just going to say it. She was on this podcast. She was on this
and Brene
podcast.
Brown's?
Okay.
Okay, you have won. You have won the lottery.
Yes. I've won. I heard her say the exact words you just posted on your IG reel. I quoted Edith Eger, FYI, you'll be 50 anyway. That helped me kick into gear. It's now 4 years later. I have 10 more months till I graduate with my master's level degree in counselor education, after which I'll start working as a marriage, couples, and family counselor from engineer to therapist. In a million years, I never would have thought I was the kind of person who would take a risk like this, especially so late in life. But here I am. Life can be quite the unexpected trip if you tear down the cages and let it.
I have chills. I
A round of
have
applause.
chills. Oh my gosh. That is that is all you want. And
That's all
here's
you
the
want.
interesting thing about all of that is she knew at 16.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knew at 16. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as a parent, now a grandparent, listening, I was with Charlie all day yesterday, and he's such a wise little boy. He's such a deep, deep thinker. And I listen to him and I just think, "Oh, who are you going to be when you're,
Yeah.
as you get older? Who are you going to be?" But just listening to him, uh, I y I was talking to his mom this morning, and I just she was thanking me for staying with him yesterday, and I just said, "It's a gift because he has such gems." And I
Yes.
feel like what was that book? Was it Frederick? That the little mouse, there's a and he I can't remember the name of the book, but I wanna
Okay.
say in the winter, he pulls out gems that he gathered during I love children's books.
Okay. You got to text me this book
Okay,
afterwards because I got to
and
know this
he
book.
just
Okay.
they pull out, like, all the things that they gathered during the summer. But that's spending
Oh,
time with both he and Piper. It
yeah.
just it's just a gem. Like, it's exhausting, yes, but it's also
Yeah.
a gift. So, listening
Yeah.
to that 16-year-old, and if someone had heard her and
Mhm.
and just encouraged her, not said, "Yeah, major in," but just said, "Tell me more. Tell me more."
Yeah. Yeah, take a
Yeah.
class. Take a class and figure it out. And I mean, I really did treat college like a buffet. I took a lot of different kinds
Well,
of
I was
classes, but
told
then
yeah.
I also was not paying attention and had to just slam my way through an English major at the end of senior year because I'd taken so many different kinds of classes. That was the only degree I could
I
finish
was yeah,
conceivably.
college for me needed to have a purpose, and I needed to get a degree and get a job when I
Mhm.
got finished. That was
Yeah.
that was what was told to me, and Kenny and I said to the kids, "Liberal arts. Liberal arts, it is an extension of high school. Learn, 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 and then figure
Yeah.
out what you wanna do for postgrad."
Yeah. Yeah. And Um, I love what you said about your grandchildren too, because kids do think of the world so expansively and life and, the realities of life really will constrict our ideas of what is possible. And oh, great, good. Let's let's blow leaves right outside the window. Okay. I've changed the recording day so many times based on when this man's going to be
Can I
blowing
tell you
leaves.
something?
I can't plan around him.
Nothing drives me more. I got rid
Nothing. We don't
I
have leaves. We're in the desert.
I got rid of a lawn guy because he spent
Yeah.
90% of the time blowing leaves.
Reverse
What
vacuuming.
is
Reverse
why?
vacuuming. What are you doing? Just raking,
Just
I think could also work. I don't
just
know.
just mow
It
them, mulch them.
mow them, mow them, mulch them. That's what the bees want. We don't have grass. We don't have leaves. I don't know what you're doing. Get a
Mulch
broom.
them.
We could
I
just broom it up.
just
It's
yeah.
quieter.
Oh god.
I don't know what we're doing, but so that's a little treat. That's a little like,
Mhm.
audio aural, not oral, aural, aural treat for the listeners. Like you're gonna hear the guy just blowing his leaves. I used to record on Tuesdays. Then he was doing it. So I said, we'll do it Wednesdays. Nope, no, Thursdays. Nope.
He just
I'm
knows.
never
He
safe.
just knows.
I'm never he sees me go to work and he says, I
Yeah,
gotta fire
yeah,
up
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah, yeah.
leaf blower. But back to the topic, which is kids think of the world so expansively, and I love, you know, my 12-year-old does this a lot less often now. My Sophie, our 19-year-old, does this never, right? Like she's decided on a path. She feels really good about it. That's great. I love that kind of confidence. But our 8-year-old will still, say, "Oh, mom, when I grow up, oh man, I'm going to be a video game designer and a veterinarian."
Love. Love.
It's like,
Perfect.
heck yeah. All right,
Perfect.
great.
Mhm.
Great. Just he's always got a scheme and a dream. And, he used to say he was going to live in my house forever, and I support that. I think that's actually great. I love
Mhm.
intergenerational living. But now I'm going to live in his house because he is going to have a
Oh,
five-layer
5-layer house?
mansion,
I love.
and I'll get
Oh,
my own layer.
love.
We live in a 1-layer house now. If you live in a 2-layer house, my kids think you are rich. If you live in a 3-layer house, if you have a basement, you're on another level.
Amazing.
Like they're very
Um,
impressed. So he's just trying to get more layers to
that
his
is
life,
that is
layers to
now
his
my new
home.
word. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to the upper layer, please. Yeah.
My
What layer are we on?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
That is now my new
Okay.
word.
I have
Okay.
one more story to share.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I booked
No,
you for an
no,
hour
no,
and
no,
I
no, no.
also
I'm
already went
enjoying
over
this.
it.
I don't want it to end.
Also, I think my watch is very off. Yeah, it's very off. And I blame Matthew. I can't set a watch
Right.
myself. Like, as a woman, I can do anything except if I
Yeah.
don't want to.
Mhm.
And that's what it comes down to. Okay. All right. I have pivoted careers so many times just this year that I'm getting dizzy. I mean, it's incredibly exhilarating, but also stressful and makes me feel shaky. I'm somewhere in my 40s and I'm a writer and an editor, always have been and probably always will be in some capacity. For money, I still work as a freelance copywriter for a large children's media company. For some reason, though, I decided to start a homemade pet treats company this past spring. I don't even have a dog.
Lo love.
Okay, great. Great. Okay. Tear down those barriers. Like, you don't have to have a dog just to make treats for
No,
a
and
dog.
those
I
of us who
support
do
this.
those of us
Okay.
who do so appreciate that.
Because I'm not making dog
No,
treats.
absolutely not.
I'm buying
Yeah.
dog treats. I'm
Mhm.
buying dog treats. Okay. I make doggy donuts, s'mores, peanut butter treats, carob chip cookies, black and white cookies, and
Oh my
more.
gosh.
My company is called Live Laugh Woof. Oh, God. Then a few months ago, I finally started a Substack newsletter, which is kind of like my Julie and Julia, where I'm working my way through the tarot deck by pulling one card a week and writing about it within the context of my personal life. It's called Tarot Minded. This is, you are a copywriter. You are
I
a
was just gonna say,
copywriter,
this
okay?
woman is brilliant.
Brilliant. I love this. I also finished a children's book manuscript this year. I've sent it to 2 agents, both of whom rejected it, but that's not going to stop me. I might ask an artist friend to illustrate it and just self-publish it at some point. It's about a neurodivergent elf in Santa's workshop who saves Christmas because she thinks differently than the other elves. I know everyone is biased toward their own work, but I genuinely believe this story is sweet and good and will benefit neurodivergent kids and their families. Okay, here's what I'm hearing in this, Cheryl, which is what you said too.
Try
Try stuff.
stuff. What and
Try
what
stuff.
brings you the most joy when you do it?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you hit a block, okay, so 2 agents don't want the book. You
You
still
still
want
want
the
the book?
book, right?
Do we
Like,
the number of people who
okay.
self-publish.
It grows every day. It's grown while we've
Right.
been speaking. While we've been speaking, several books were
Exactly.
self-published. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So earlier this year, I decided to get my yoga teacher certification with the intention of creating yoga flows based on literature and poetry. Again, try stuff based on what you
Here's the thing.
like.
This
This is,
boggles my mind because I don't have
yeah,
that kind of a brain. Like, I am in
yeah,
awe of somebody who is that thinking that creatively and willing to try. Like, I am not
yeah,
that. So when I see somebody like that, when I hear about somebody like that, I am just, like, gobsmacked. It's like, "Oh, wow." Like, that is wild.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's so wild. It is so wild. Um, okay, I considered turning this into a YouTube series, but I feel super icky about becoming some kind of YouTube fitness
Little
guru, guru. Guru. I'm learning Italian. I will pronounce everything with an Italian accent. Okay, I feel super icky about becoming some kind of YouTube fitness guru. That is a persona I do not think would be my size if I tried it on. So my husband actually had a great idea because sometimes men have good ideas. that I have now grabbed with both hands and run away with. He suggested I interview book authors while I guide myself and the author through a yoga sequence, kind of like Hot Ones for author interviews and yoga flows. And now I'm doing it. It's called Book Nerd Yoga. I have a YouTube channel just waiting to be filled with videos. I filmed the first episode with my author friend, Laura Hankin. She has published 5 novels and now also has a screenplay in production with Adam Sandler's daughter playing the lead, and it was so much fun. If I may toot my own horn, it's a really fun concept and very cute and endearing to watch. I might also make the audio available as a podcast. For the yoga sequence, I designed it to include references to Laura's books, such as Stargazer pose for her book, The Daydreams, which is about a 90s pop star in the paparazzi. So here's my request for you. Would you join me on Book Nerd Yoga for a yoga session and author Q&A someday? You know what? Can I get to New York City or Philadelphia? Probably. It's a yes. It's a yes asterisk. When I'm in New York City or Philadelphia, of course I would do that. And I actually, we're going to give some unsolicited advice here, Cheryl. I don't think just because you make yoga flows that reference literature, you'd have to be a YouTube fitness guru. I think that could just be a fun thing for people who like to read.
Yeah.
I think I think they're all great ideas.
I cannot imagine living in her head. Like with the amount of ideas that she's coming up with.
Yeah.
Like I cannot.
And executing.
Right? Like I can't imagine living in that head of hers. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like,
isn't that great?
She's just got it.
She's got it. She's got it. And you know what? I love ideas. I love when people try ideas. I love making a plan. I love when a plan comes together. I love making a plan and then never doing anything with it. So this is a woman after my own heart. And I actually think I'm so glad we got to read this one, because it's not as though, they all worked out.
Right. And I think that, I mean, this is where, like, for me, like fear, like most of the time when you come up with ideas that are, seem convoluted or seem like it stays in your head because you're so filled with fear that you just don't take that first baby step. And I think that's the thing. And getting back to your question way back in the beginning is don't let fear, and who does she think she is? And all of those things. Like, here's a woman with so many ideas and she's willing to take that first baby step and try. Doesn't matter whether it works or doesn't work. Like, you can tell there's a little tiny bit of fear there, but she's still working through it. And for anybody who wants to start a new career, just don't let that fear stop you. You just take those baby steps. Just take those baby steps.
Yeah. And there's really no shame in quitting something. In quitting something that doesn't work and just saying like, oh yeah, I tried that and it didn't pan out. I have tried many things. I made a video one time of like all the things that I like attempted to do that failed, but I'll tell everybody right now, I have like 9 jobs at any given time, right? Like that is the reality. I would never tell somebody like, just like quit your job and like, go try to like make a living on the internet or whatever your thing is, because like, it's actually really hard to do, And so I would never, I caution people to trust influencers whose main job is influencing you to become a like 7-figure creator or a 6-figure creator. If they were so good at it, why would they be online all the time trying to convince you to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars for a course to do what they do? If they'd already made their money, they would just be enjoying it and vacationing. Truly. And vacationing. Like let's be so real. It's hard to do. Like I think everybody could do it. It does not work out for everybody. It just doesn't. And I have, one of my careers, one of my side quest careers is, screenwriting, and I have sold projects. I adapted my first book into a screenplay for like a major studio. It will never get made. It will never get made. Right. So is that like a failure or is it like, Like
I mean, if
it would,
that was
for a while that embarrassed me for a long time. I never brought it up. I never, like didn't announce and didn't tell anybody because like, oh, if it doesn't happen, I'll feel some kind of way. I did it. I still
I was
did
just
it,
going to say that you still did it. Things, you know, things don't go smoothly all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
nor should they. But I think with this, where we're online so much, and with social media and everything else, people. I mean, and we say this all the time. What you see is the highlight reel, and and that's
Mm-hmm.
just not how it is. That's never how it
Yeah.
is. But I think,
Yeah.
like I say to Graham, you don't need to hear from your mommy that 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 business that failed wasn't really a failure at all.
Yeah.
It's just a pivot, and you learn from what you would do differently. But
Yeah.
let me just tell you that that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. You just learn everything you
Mhm,
do is something that you can
mhm,
learn from. Everything, even if you don't
mhm,
see it, is like a step
mhm.
towards something else. You don't always know where you're
Right.
going. If you're me and you can't read even a Google map that is guiding you
Mhm.
along the path, I can't. I'm like, I don't know what direction we're going. Oh,
Yep.
missed the turn. That's the story of my
Yes.
life. Truly being like, whoa, how did I get here? I'm like, my whole life is me walking into a room and being like, why did I
I have
walk in here?
no idea.
Huh.
Let me walk
Okay.
back out and come
Okay.
back in
And
again.
then
Yeah.
but oh,
Yep.
here we are. Here we are. So I just find so much comfort and hope in these stories, and I hope that listeners do too. And thank you for being here
It
with me.
was a joy. I hope
You're
you
so
know
wonderful. You're
that.
so wonderful. I'm Nora McInerny. This has been Thanks for Asking. That was Cheryl. Her Instagram is If It's Tuesday. We'll link it in the description. You can see pictures over on our Substack, which is noraborealis.substack.com. You know what? Like Cheryl, I have not always had it figured out. I still do not always. I still don't have it figured out. I mean, I am still many days just flying by the seat of my pants, and I needed that reminder that that's kind of okay. I don't know really anyone who has it all figured out. And if they tell you that they do, they're probably full of it. They're probably full of it. I will always want your stories of starting over. I will always want to hear about times that you burned it down, pivots that you made. You can always call us. You can always email us. That is 612-568-4441. It is thanks@feelingsand.co. If you are a subscriber to the Substack, you get episodes ad-free. You can also join our little community over there. You can comment. We've got like a real friendly group of people over there. It's really wonderful. So again, that will be in our episode description as well. But you know what? That's not in the cards for everybody. Not everybody can financially support this show. We appreciate everybody listening to the show is supporting it, sharing is supporting it, shopping our advertisers is supporting it, existing in this world is supporting it, because honestly, guys, like it's hard out there. It's hard out there. All right. So when I thank the supporting producers of this episode, you should know that these are people who are paid subscribers who are supporting the show. You can do it monthly, you can do it annually, or like these supporting producers, you can like kick in a little more and say, you know what? I'm going to pledge a little bit more to this show, keep it going. And you know what you get in exchange? My undying affection and your name in the credits. Your name in the credits. So here we go. We have a big thanks to Nancy Duff, to Jenny Medellin, Jordan Jones, Sheila, Kathleen Langerman, Ben, Jess, Michelle Toms, Tom Stockberger, Jen, Beth Derry, Stacy DeMauro, Emily Fariso, Stephanie Johnson, Faye Behrens, Amanda, Sarah Garifo, Jennifer McDaigle, Elia Feliz Milan, Lindsay Lund, Renee Kepke, Chelsea Cernick, Car Pan, LGS All Caps, Stacy Wilson, Courtney McCown, Kaylee Sakai, Mary Beth Berry, Joe Theodosopoulos, Mad, Abby Rose, Elizabeth Berkeley, Kim F., Melody Swinford, Val, Lauren Hanna, Katie, Jessica Latexier, Crystal Mann, Lisa Piven, Kate Lyon, Christina, Sarah David, Kate Byerjean, Aaron John, Joy Pollock, Crystal, Jennifer Pavelka, Jess Blackwell, Micah, Jessica Reed, Beth Lipham, Kiara, Jill McDonnell, Jen Grimlin, Alexis Lane, David Binkley, Kathy Ham, Virginia Labasi, Lizzie DeVries, Jeremy Essen, Anne Dobrzinski, Robin Roulard, Nicole Peedy, Monica, my best friend Caroline Moss, Rachel Walton, Inga, Bonnie Robinson, Shannon Dominguez-Stevens, Penny Pesta, I love ya, Kaylee, Dave Gilmore, my best friend from college, and Jacqueline Ryder. Thank you guys so much. Marcel Malekebu produced this episode. Grace Berry does so much for us, including editing all of our videos. And that's the team here at Feelings & Co., where, you know what? You got feelings, so do we. See you soon, probably next week. Let's say next week.